Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. Today we'll be in Chronicles, 1 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 1 through chapter 8, verse 40. The sons of Issachar, Tola, Puah, Jashub, and Shimron, 4 in all. The sons of Tola, Uzi, Raphiah, Jeriel, Jammai, Jibsam, and Samuel. They were leaders of their families. In the time of David, there were 22,600 warriors listed in Tola's genealogical records. The son of Uzi is Izrahiah. The sons of Izrahiah, Michael, Obadiah, Joel, and Asaiah. All 5 were leaders. According to the genealogical records of their families, they had 36,000 warriors available for battle, for they had numerous wives and sons. Altogether, the genealogical records of the clans of Issachar listed 87,000 warriors. The sons of Benjamin, Bala, Becher, and Jediel, 3 in all. The sons of Bala, Esbon, Uzi, Uziel, Jeremoth, and Eri. The 5 of them were leaders of their families. There were 22,034 warriors listed in their genealogical records. The sons of Becher, Zemira, Joash, Eleazar, Elioenai, Omri, Jeremoth, Abijah, Anatoth, and Alameth. All these were the sons of Becher. There were 20,200 family leaders and warriors listed in their genealogical records. The son of Jediel, Bilhan. The sons of Bilhan, Jeush, Benjamin, Ehud, Kenanah, Zethan, Tarshish, and Ahishashar. All these were the sons of Jediel. Listed in their genealogical records were 17,200 family leaders and warriors who were capable of marching out to battle. The Shuppites and Huppites were descendants of Ir, and the Hushites were descendants of Aher. The sons of Naphtali, Jaziel, Guni, Jezer, and Shalom, sons of Bilhah. The sons of Manasseh, Asriel, who was born to Manasseh's Aramean concubine. She also gave birth to Machir, the father of Gilead. Now Machir married a wife from the Huppites and Shippites. His sister's name was Maacah. Zelophehad was Manasseh's second son. He had only daughters. Maacah, Machir's wife, gave birth to a son, whom she named Perish. His brother was Sheresh, and his sons were Ulam and Rechem. The son of Ulam, Beden. These were the sons of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh. His sister, Hamaleketh, gave birth to Ishad, Abiezer, and Mala. The sons of Shemida were Ahian, Shechem, Likhi, and Aniam. The descendants of Ephraim, Shuthelah, his son Bered, his son Tahath, his son Eliadah, his son Tahath, his son Zabad, his son Shuthelah. Ezer and Eliad were killed by the men of Gath, who were natives of the land, when they went down to steal their cattle. Their father Ephraim mourned for them many days, and his brothers came to console him. He had sexual relations with his wife. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. Ephraim named him Beriah, because tragedy had come to his family. His daughter was Shira, who built Lower and Upper Beth-horon, as well as Uzan Shira. His son Ripha, his son Resheph, his son Tela, his son Tahan, his son Ladan, his son Amihud, his son Elishama, his son Nun, and his son Joshua. Their property and settlements included Bethel and its surrounding towns, Naran to the east, Gezer and its surrounding towns to the west, and Shechem and its surrounding towns as far as Aiah and its surrounding towns. On the border of Manasseh's territory were Beth Shean and its surrounding towns, Tanakh and its surrounding towns, Megiddo and its surrounding towns, and Dor and its surrounding towns. The descendants of Joseph, Israel's son, lived here. The sons of Asher, Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah. Sarah was their sister. The sons of Beriah, Heber and Malchiel, who was the father of Beerzaeth. Heber was the father of Japhlet, Shomer, Hotham, and Shua, their sister. The sons of Japhlet, Pasek, Bimhal, and Ashvath. These were Japhlet's sons. The sons of his brother, Shemer, Roga, Huba, and Aram. The sons of his brother Helam, Zophah, Imnah, Shelesh, and Almal. The sons of Zophah, Suah, Harnefer, Shual, Beri, Imrah, Bezer, Hod, Shammah, Shilshash, Ithran, and Bera. The sons of Jether, Jephthah, Pispa, and Ara. The sons of Ulah, Ara, Haniel, and Riziah. All these were the descendants of Asher. They were the leaders of their families, the most capable men who were warriors and served as head chiefs. There were 26,000 warriors listed in their genealogical records as capable of doing battle. Benjamin was the father of Bela. His firstborn Ashbel was born second, Ahara third, Noha fourth, and Rapha fifth. Bela's sons were Adar, Gera, Abihud, Abishua, Naaman, Ahoha, Gera, Shephuphan, and Huram. These were the descendants of Ehud, who were leaders of the families living in Geba, who were forced to move to Manahath. Naaman, Ahijah, and Gera, who moved them. Gera was the father of Uzzah and Ahihud. Shahariam fathered sons in Moab after he divorced his wives, Husham and Bara. By his wife Hodesh, he fathered Jobab, Zibiah, Misha, Malcolm, Jeuz, Sakia, and Mirmam. These were his sons. They were family leaders. By Husham he fathered Abitub and Elpal. The sons of Elpal, Eber, Misham, Shemed, who built Ono and Lod, as well as its surrounding towns, Beriah and Shema. They were leaders of the families living in Aijalon and chased out the inhabitants of Gath. Ahiu, Sheshach, Jeremoth, Zebediah, Arad, Eder, Michael, Ishpa, and Joah were sons of Beriah. Zebediah, Meshullam, Hizki, Heber, Ishmariah, Isliah, and Jobab were the sons of Elpal. Jacob, Zikri, and Zabdi, Elianai, Zilithiah, Eliel, Adiah, Beriah, and Shimrath were the sons of Shemaiah. Ishpan, Eber, Eliel, Abdon, Zikri, Hanan, Hananiah, Elam, and Thithijah, Ifdaiah, and Penuel were the sons of Shashak. Shamshariah, Shechariah, Athaliah, Jerushiah, Elijah, and Zikri were the sons of Jeroham. These were the family leaders listed in the genealogical records. They lived in Jerusalem. The father of Gibeon lived in Gibeon. His wife's name was Makkah. His firstborn son was Abdon, followed by Zur, Kish, Baal, Nadab, Geder, Ahio, Zeker, and Mikloth. Mikloth was the father of Shemaiah. They also lived near their relatives in Jerusalem. Ner was the father of Kish, and Kish was the father of Saul. Saul was the father of Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, and Ishbaal. The son of Jonathan, Meribal. Meribal was the father of Micah. The sons of Micah, Pithon, Melech, Teriah, and Ahaz. Ahaz was the father of Jehoiada, and Jehoiada was the father of Alameth, Asmaveth, and Zimri. Zimri was the father of Moza, and Moza was the father of Benaiah. His son was Rapha, whose son was Eliasah, whose son was Azel. Azel had 6 sons: Azrikam, his firstborn, followed by Ishmael, Shariah, Obadiah, and Hanan. All these were the sons of Azel. The sons of his brother Ishik: Ulam was his firstborn, Jeush second, and Eliphalet third. The sons of Ulam were warriors who were adept archers. They had many sons and grandsons, a total of 150. All these were the descendants of Benjamin. So, just burning through Chronicles here with all the names present, which there are quite a few names. So it looks like we're going through Israel tribe by tribe here, and talking about these individual progenitors, I guess, of the greater family line. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just a couple points here. You had the descendants of Ephraim listed here, and it was interesting because I've always heard Joshua mentioned as the son of Nun, but in First Chronicles 7:27, you have as the descendants of Ephraim, his son Nun, and his son Joshua. So Joshua was an Ephraimite, and yeah, it's just thinking about that. Also have this story of tragedy in the middle of everything, where two of this man's sons get killed in an attempt to steal cattle. Oh, that's in Ephraim as well. And 7:21 through 23, where Ephraim had sons. Shuthelah, his son Bered, his son Tahath, his son Eliada, his son Tahath, his son Zadab, his son Shuthelah, which Ezer and Eliad were killed by the men of Gath, who were natives of the land, when they went down to steal their cattle. Their father Ephraim mourned for them many days, and his brothers came to console him. He had sexual relations with his wife. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. Ephraim named him Beriah because tragedy had come to his family. It's kind of interesting because it seems like there's a chain of generations there, but you have it talking as though like it's Ephraim and then Ezer and Eliad. So, Beriah. Just stuck out to me. Also, you have a couple of interesting names here in chapter 8. With you have the genealogy from Benjamin, which if you follow that through to 8:30, you have his firstborn son was Abdon, followed by Zur, Kish, Baal, Nadab. So Kish is the father of Saul in 1 Chronicles 8:33. So, and Saul was the first king of Israel. And then you have the line of Jonathan here, who was Saul's son in 8:34, which I was, I guess, under the impression that Mephibosheth was pretty much the only remaining son of Saul, but it looks like you had Meribal, who was the son of Jonathan, who goes on to father this this whole line. So it's pretty interesting. Cool. Well, carrying on here. Enough talking about names for now. Acts chapter 27, verses 1 through 20. So, Paul appeals to Caesar. To Caesar he goes. When it was decided we would sail to Italy, they handed over Paul and some other prisoners to a centurion of the Augustan cohort named Julius. We went on board a ship from Adramyttium that was about to sail to various ports along the coast of the province of Asia and put out to sea, accompanied by Aristarchus, a Macedonian from Thessalonica. The next day we put in at Sidon, and Julius, treating Paul kindly, allowed him to go to his friends so they could provide him with what he needed. From there we put out to sea and sailed under the lee of Cyprus, because the winds were against us. After we had sailed across the open sea of Cilicia and Pamphylia, we put in at Myra in Lycia. There the centurion found a ship from Alexandria sailing for Italy, and he put us aboard it. We sailed slowly for many days and arrived with difficulty off Snidus? I don't know. Because the wind prevented us from going any farther. We sailed under the lee of Crete off Salmon. With difficulty, we sailed along the coast of Crete and came to a place called Fair Havens that was near the town of Lasea. Since considerable time had passed and the voyage was now dangerous, because the fast was already over, Paul advised them, "Men, I can see the voyage is going to end in disaster and great loss, not only of the cargo and the ship, but also of our lives." But the centurion was more convinced by the captain and the ship's owner than by what Paul said. Because the harbor was not suitable to spend the winter in, the majority decided to put out to sea from there. They hoped that somehow they could reach Phoenix, a harbor of Crete, facing southwest and northwest, and spend the winter there. When a gentle south wind sprang up, they thought they could carry out their purpose, so they weighed anchor and sailed close along the coast of Crete. Not long after this, a hurricane-force wind, called the Northeaster, blew down from the island. When the ship was caught in it and could not head into the wind, we gave way to it and were driven along. As we ran under the lee of a small island called Cauda, we were able, with difficulty, to get the ship's boat under control. After the crew had hoisted it aboard, they used supports to undergird the ship. Fearing they would run aground on the Syrtis, they lowered the sea anchor, thus letting themselves be driven along. The next day, because we were violently battered by the storm, they began throwing the cargo overboard, and on the third day, they threw the ship's gear overboard with their own hands. When neither sun nor stars appeared for many days, and a violent storm continued to batter us, we finally abandoned all hope of being saved. just gonna end it there. Okay. That's a pretty bleak tale. Yeah, it really, from the stories I've heard, it really sucks to be at the whims of the sea. And that looks like essentially what happened. They're being driven along by these hurricane-force winds, and there's essentially no steering that they can do. And here in the end, in 1919, they threw the cargo overboard, and then they threw the ship's gear overboard, which you need that to steer. So, yeah, this is definitely a bleak situation for Paul and his companions and everybody on the ship. So, well, I guess carrying on here. Psalm chapter 7, verses 1 through 17. O Lord my God, in you I have taken shelter. Deliver me from all who chase me. Rescue me, otherwise they will rip me to shreds like a lion. They will tear me to bits, and no one will be able to rescue me. O Lord my God, if I have done what they say, or am guilty of unjust actions, or have wronged my ally, or helped his lawless enemy, may an enemy relentlessly chase me and catch me, may trample me to death, and leave me lying dishonored in the dust. Selah. Stand up angrily, Lord. Rise up with raging fury against my enemies. Wake up for my sake, and execute the judgment you have decreed for them. The countries are assembled all around you. Take once more your rightful place over them. The Lord judges the nations. Vindicate me, Lord, because I am innocent, because I am blameless, O exalted one. May the evil deeds of the wicked come to an end, but make the innocent secure, O righteous God, you who examine inner thoughts and motives. The exalted God is my shield, the one who delivers the morally upright. God is a just judge. He is angry throughout the day. If a person does not repent, God sharpens his sword and prepares to shoot his bow. He prepares to use deadly weapons against him. He gets ready to shoot flaming arrows. See the one who is pregnant with wickedness, who conceives destructive plans and gives birth to harmful lies. He digs a pit and then falls into the hole he has made. He becomes the victim of his own destructive plans, and the violence he intended for others falls on his own head. I will thank the Lord for his justice. I will sing praises to the sovereign Lord. It's interesting how you have both this picture of God who is very much desiring of justice and full of the wrath that justice entails. Like a picture of Psalm 7:11, God is a just judge. He is angry throughout the day, and certainly humanity provides him enough things to be angry about throughout the day. But also, it's juxtaposed with pictures of his unfailing love and his kindness and patience towards men, giving us hundreds of years, giving civilizations hundreds of years to repent before justice is due. So, just interesting to me. Carrying on, Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22. The one who finds a wife finds what is enjoyable and receives a pleasurable gift from the Lord. And Proverbs goes on to say the value of a wise spouse exceeds that of precious jewels. So that's cool. Anyhow, hope you have a nice day. Bye.